want us to talk about something very, very, very cardinal this wonderful evening, afternoon, morning, depending on where you're watching me from. So now, the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to share the broadcast so that somebody out there knows to say you are live. So everybody that is watching me, I think, get to share the broadcast even just before we begin. Share the broadcast in different groups, share the broadcast on your timeline, share the broadcast to somebody out there so that they know to say we are live and so that you can be a blessing. At the same time, as you are sharing the broadcast, I want you to just comment here in the comment section. If you can hear me, I want you to comment that you can hear me loud and clear. So get to comment and at the same time get to share the broadcast. So got something very, very, very nice for us today that I want us to discuss and I want us to talk about. I believe it's something that is going to help you to grow, and I believe it's something that is going to help me to grow. So not going to start yet, not until I see your comments. I see if you can be able to hear me, not until I see if you can be able to hear me, if you can be able to hear me. So I really want to know if you guys can be able to hear me. I really want to know if you guys can be able to hear me. So at least get to comment if you can hear me. If you can hear me, drop me a comment if you can hear. Talk about the growth mindset, the growth mindset. Okay, so at least I can be able to see one comment coming from Catherine and coming from Lisa that you can be able to hear me. So hopefully you guys, you are sharing the broadcast so that we can be able to speak to as many people as we can. So now, as you are listening to the sound of my voice, I want you to understand something right here. I want you to understand to say growth. It is something very, very, very cardinal. Growth is something very cardinal. It's something that we should not run away from. So by all means, let us make sure that we develop this growth mindset. By all means, let us make sure that we develop this growth mindset, growth mindset, growth mindset, the growth mindset, the growth mindset. Something very, very, very important. Okay, so we are going to start. We're not going to take much of your time. I want us to talk about the difference between the growth mindset and also the fixed mindset. The reason why we're talking about the mindset today is simply because whatever that we must be able to see manifest in the physical, it all begins from the mind. If your mind has not yet grown in everything that you do, you will never flourish, you'll never become better, you'll never be successful in almost everything that you do. So growth, it begins from the mind. So even just before you grow physically, even before your business gets to grow physically, it's supposed to grow from the mind there. So if from the mind the business has not yet grown, trust me, you can try to push, but nothing is really going to work out. Nothing is going to happen. So we're talking about growth here because the mind, it is the powerhouse. The mind is the powerhouse of each and every person. The mind is the powerhouse of your success. The mind is the powerhouse of, your growth in business. The mind is the powerhouse of almost everything. So it's very important that we talk about what the mind is all about. So now that we're talking about the growth mindset, already it tells you to say, in order for you to manifest, in order for you to achieve, in order for you to become better, you need what? You need growth. You need to understand to say anything that does not grow, meaning it is something that does not have life in it. One of the characteristics of a living thing, it is growth and movement. Already tells you to say, if at all somebody must be able to know, must be able to see that you are living, your mind, it's supposed to do what? It's supposed to grow. Now, if your mind has not yet fully developed, if your mind has not yet grown, if your mind has not yet matured, already it tells us to say you always be at the same pace. Already it tells us to say you can never succeed in almost everything that you're doing. Because one of the characteristics of something that is living, it is growth. Now, when you see something that is living, it is not growing, already it tells you to say it is not alive, because anything that is living, it has to grow. It could be an ant, provided that it is living, it's supposed to grow. It could be an animal, provided that it is living, it is supposed to grow. So now, what is it that is going to stop you and I from growing? Now, we're not supposed to be just growing body-wise. We're not supposed to, to be growing, when it comes to our bodies, but we're supposed to be growing mentally. Because anything that must be conquered in this life, it all begins from the what? From the mind. So if your mind it is captivated, if your mind it has not yet grown to that level at which you are supposed to grow, you can't come out. You can't come out of that shell. You cannot unleash your potential. So your potential it can only be unleashed when your mind it is out of slavery, when your mind it is out of the cage. The cage we're talking about here, it is the cage of ignorance. So when you come out from a place of ignorance, when you come out from a place where you do not know certain things, when you come out from a place of, a fixed mindset, that is when you know to say you can be able to grow, you can be able to do exploit, you can be able to do better in certain areas of life. Now, I want you to understand something here. A fixed mindset, it is a mindset that tells you to say, I know everything. I cannot learn from my friend. I cannot learn from my brother. I cannot learn from my sister. I cannot learn from the people around me. It is a fixed mindset. It tells you to say, you can just do it by yourself. You don't need the support from any person. You don't need, the backing from any person. So, a fixed mindset, it tells you to say, there is nobody that you need in order for you to be successful in business. There is nobody that you need in order for you to become a better person. But a growth mindset, it tells you to say, I'm supposed to work with others in order for me to become a better person. Now, the question that you're supposed to ask yourself is that, what sort of a mind do you want to possess? What sort of a mind do you want to move by? Is it a growth mindset or it is a fixed mindset? And many of the times we get to be at the same pace, we do not progress simply because we don't really know whether we've got a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. So the fact that you can be able to do certain things alone, the fact that you can be able to go to certain places alone, the fact that you can be able to make monies alone, it does not necessarily mean that you've grown. So we actually have quite a number of people right now that are doing things on their own, and they think that by the reason of doing those things on their own, they've grown. No, that is not growth. Growth, it is not determined by the things that you get to do alone. So it's very possible that you can do certain things alone, but you've not yet matured, you've not yet grown to that level at which you're supposed to grow. So the first thing that we're talking about here when it comes to a growth mindset, it is that you get to realize, you get to know to say you can't do certain things alone. You get to understand to say in order for you to flourish, you need other individuals out there. So a fixed mindset, it tells you to say, I don't need anybody in order for me to be successful. I don't need anybody in order for me to become a better person. But a growth mindset, it tells you to say, you need somebody out there. So now, I want you to ask yourself right now as you're listening to the sound of my voice, in everything that you do out there, do you do things alone or you want to work with others? So if you don't want to work with others, already tells you to say you no longer have that growth mindset inside of you. You need to understand also the second point to say a growth mindset, it is a mindset that keeps on learning or that wants to keep on learning, constant learning. So somebody that has got a fixed mindset, they don't want to learn. It is not just about teamwork. They don't want to learn. So these are individuals that when you ask them about a particular thing, It's more like they know everything. So there are such kind of individuals. We call them they know it all. So ask them about any area, ask them about anything. They will tell you to say they know. Get to ask them about politics. They know everything about politics. Get to ask them about finances. They know everything about finances. They're a jack of all trades. It's more like they can be found everywhere. They can do everything. They can comment on anything out there. Now ask yourself, are you that kind of a person that can comment on anything? Are you that kind of a person that can just talk about anything? It's good to have knowledge, it's good to have wisdom about certain things, but also it is important that you develop this growth mindset that is going to help you to be willing to learn from others, to learn from your friends, to learn from people that have gone ahead of you. Something very, very important. Now, there is something that I also want you to understand here. I want you to understand to say the growth mindset, it is a mindset that does not desire or that does not complain to say. So you find that we've got quite a number of people right now that complains over certain things that used to happen to their lives. They complain about everything. Ask them, how are you doing? Ah, no, I'm trying. They can't tell you to say I'm fine. They're always trying. Ask them about how is life. No, we are pushing. We are trying. So you find that there is some complaints. So they don't take challenges of life as an opportunity in order for them to become better, but they always give an excuse. They always complain in everything that they do. That's the third point. They complain in everything that they do. They complain about over little things. Are you that kind of a person that complains over little things? Are you that kind of a person that complains about everything out there? I mean, we're not supposed to be that kind of people. So just because on that particular day, maybe the business didn't go according to the way you expected, you begin to blame yourself, you begin to curse yourself, you begin to think as if you're not making any progress, you begin to think as if the whole world is against you. The fact that you had a tension in a relationship, maybe in a marriage, things didn't go according to your expectation, you begin to think as if you know, as if life has just, hit you on the ground, as if there is nothing really that can ever work out for you. So you complain, you haven't grown yet. The growth mindset it's no longer in you. You haven't grown yet. Now, you need to grow. You need to grow. It's very, very important. So, power cut, right? We need to grow. So growth is something that is very, very cardinal, something that we need to work on, and something that is going to help us. Okay, so it's fine. We can just leave it there. So let us grow. Let us grow. When we grow mentally, we are going to be better people. When we grow mentally, we are going to be better businessmen and women. When we grow mentally, our lives are not going to be the same. We are going to see a transformation in almost everything that we get to do out here. There is another point that I wrote for you here. You see, a growth mindset, it is a mindset that thinks about the present and the future. Then a fixed mindset, it is a mindset that thinks about the past. Now ask yourself right now as you're listening to the sound of my voice, are you that kind of a person that just thinks about, the past? Most of us were feeding on our past. So you find that at a certain point you are disappointed. Now you cannot be able to trust certain individuals. So at a certain point, maybe you were swindled, you were betrayed by a particular individual. You cannot be able to trust certain individuals anymore. Okay, so I want you to help me. I think we have all kind of issues. Just help me. Just you can just touch there. You can touch where there's an adapter there. Yes, just right there. Okay, we're good. Are we okay?